All right, welcome everyone to our, was that too loud? I won't have to bend over. It's better. Welcome to our city council meeting this evening. We're going to go ahead, it's 5 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We'd like to get started out properly. We have Pastor Greg right here from the Westside Baptist Church. Also, just not to be forgotten, is he participates in our chaplain program for our police department, which we really appreciate. Thank you for being here.
Glad to. Before I pray, I wanted to mention from Psalm 148. It's a psalm of praise, and the first part of it says that the heavens should praise God, including the angels and all of the creation in the skies. But then verse 7 says, "Praise the Lord from the earth, you great sea creatures in all the depths, fire and hail, snow and clouds, stormy wind, fulfilling his word." And so the rain and the snow around us, we can praise the Lord for it, and it's there because of God, and God wants to be glorified through it. So we pray for water, and now it's time to thank Him for it too. So let's pray. Father, we thank you that you are sovereign in everything, in creation and currently in our daily lives. We do thank you for the snow, and we thank you that you have been good and gracious and kind in that. We pray, Father, that this would be a blessing to us and in no way a harm. We ask, Lord, that you would be glorified through your control of all things. Now, in this meeting, we're praying that you would be seen to be in charge, and that you'd be pleased to bless our leaders, keep them safe, give them wisdom, and bless our community because of it. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so much for that, Pastor Wright. I went ahead and asked Councilwoman Danielle Arkin to lead us in the pledge.
Please rise and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any pre-agenda items? None, nice. Any changes to the agenda?
No changes this evening.
All right, let's take us away.
Okay, item 2 is a consent calendar. There's 7 items on the consent calendar this evening. These are administrative items. Staff has reviewed these and recommend approval. However, if the council would like to remove any of these for specific consideration, we can accommodate that. Otherwise, staff recommends approval.
Council?
Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve item number 2.
Second.
We have a motion by Austin, second by Steve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 3 is a public hearing and consideration of resolution number 2026-003R to review and approve amendments to the fiscal year 25-26 budget, and Robert will present this item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight's budget amendment includes only one item, and this item is directly related to item 2D that was on the agenda item that the council just considered and approved. This item is a request for a budget amendment from our airport department to fund the extension of the pavement structure for the new West General Aviation taxi lane. The original budget included funding for the construction of 35 feet of width for that taxi lane. This amendment would add the additional 45 feet of width to take the full taxi lane to the full 80 feet of width. Staff is proposing to pre-build out the remaining 45 feet and then charge the users of that an impact fee or some other type of fee to recoup that cost for that construction. The total request is in the amount of $513,777. Staff is proposing to utilize airport restricted funds and then again to reimburse those as we have users sign leases to pay for the cost of that extension of the taxi lane. With that, that's the only item on tonight's budget amendment. I'd be happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Any questions for Robert? Oh, good. If there's no questions, then this is a public hearing, so we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for those who have come to speak to this item, item number 3. Seeing that there's no comments, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and come back to you, council, for your vote.
I'll make a motion to approve the consideration of Resolution 2026-003R to review and approve amendments to the fiscal year 2025 budget, 2025-2026 budget.
Second.
A motion by Natalie and a second by Danielle. This is a resolution requiring a roll call vote, starting with Danielle.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item 4, public hearing and consideration of ordinance number 2026-005, vacating a municipal utility easement located on lots 104 and 105 of Desert Canyons Town Center West Commercial Subdivision.
Okay, so these two lots have been increased in size. They've added property to those lots, and so that has extended their property, their south or their north property line further to the north. Easements were dedicated on those original north property lines. Therefore, they need to vacate those easements and then reestablish them on the north, the new north property line.
Questions for Wes? Okay, this is also a public hearing, so I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for those who have come to speak to this item. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and come back to you, council, for your consideration.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item number 4, ordinance number 2026-005, vacating municipal utility easement located on lots 104 and 105 Desert Canyons Town Center.
Second.
We have a motion by Steve, a second by Natalie. This is a ordinance requiring a roll call vote, starting with Austin.
Aye. Austin Anderson, aye.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 5, public hearing and consideration of ordinance number 2026-006, vacating an easement for utility and drainage purposes located at the rear of Lot 18 of Rivers Edge at Sunbrook.
Okay, this again, this is a easement that was dedicated here with the plat that was along the rear property line. They've merged properties that they've owned, and so the property line, now the rear property line will be here, and so it's vacating that easement right there, and then we'll reestablish it with the final plat amendment right there on that north property line.
Any questions for Wes? All right, this is also a public hearing. We'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for those who have come to speak to item number 5. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and come back to you, council, for your consideration.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2026-006, vacating an easement for utility and drainage purposes located at the rear of Lot 18 of Rivers Edge at Sunbrook.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, well, if we have a, sorry, I'm kind of deaf in one ear and can't hear out of the other. We have a motion by Danielle, second by Austin. Again, requiring a roll call vote, as this is an ordinance. We'll go ahead and start with Natalie.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item 6, public hearing and consideration of ordinance number 2026-007, vacating of a right-of-way easement for sewer pipeline located on the south side of Riverside Drive between the Comfort Inn and Culver's.
Okay, this used to be, there was a sewer line here. I believe it's still there, but it's been abandoned. And so the request now is to come in as they develop these lots or these parcels and abandon that sewer line easement now that the sewer line is no longer in use.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So has that sewer line been cleaned if it's not in use? Are we leaving material in it, I guess is my question. Before we vacate it, has it been cleared? To me, that is something that I would like to know. I mean, I can see leaving it there, but if it has stuff in it, I think whoever's requesting this should pay to have it removed.
We can try to camera it and see what the condition is. Typically, when they abandon a line like that, they'll concrete both ends so water can't get into it. But we can definitely check into it and see what the condition is of it.
Well, I don't know if it had a leak in it. I don't know. But to me, I would like to know if it was a neighboring yard that it was been cleared. And I think whoever's requesting this, if it has to be cleared, should be responsible to pay for the clearing. Like, you know, if you have a septic tank that needs pumped out, that's kind of the same thing as leaving a septic tank full if it was full in the backyard.
One other question, Scott. How deep is this? It's got to be. We don't have it on our maps because it's been abandoned, so I couldn't tell you.
So it is not, hasn't been in use? Okay.
I suspect that was one of the original lines to when the sewer plant was down in that area.
Yeah, when the ponds were down there?
Yeah, and the plant. So it's
Yeah.
been out of service for a number of years.
Any other questions for Wes or Scott? Okay, if there's no other questions, this is a public hearing. So I will go ahead and open up the public hearing for any who have come to speak to this item, item number 6. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and come back to you, council.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-007, vacating a right-of-way easement for a sewer pipeline located the south side of Riverside Drive between the Comfort Inn and Culver's.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Natalie and a second by Steve. This is an ordinance also requiring a roll call vote, starting with Steve.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Natalie Larson, I.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 7, a public hearing and consideration of ordinance number 2026-008, vacating a utilities, drainage, and irrigation easement located between lots 56 and 57, lots 57 and 58, lots 58 and 59, Southgate subdivision phase 5.
Okay, lots 56 and 57 are owned by the same property owner. Their proposal is to merge those lots, which requires vacation of that easement between the two lots. 58 and 59 are also owned by another property owner. They're merging those two lots, which then would require the vacation of that easement. And so that's the request. They are requesting to vacate the easement between 57 and 58 and then adjust that property line. And with that adjustment, then we'll just reestablish a new easement there along that property line that then will subdivide the two properties.
Thank you, Wes. Any questions for Wes? If there's no questions, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing for those who have come to speak on item number 7. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and come back to you, council, for your consideration.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2026-008, vacating the utilities, drainage, and irrigation easement located between lots 56 and 57, lots 58 and 59.
Second.
Did we miss? We okay with that? How that's worded? Did we miss a lot? What?
Oh, 58 and 59 as well.
All right. I like it. So we have a motion. Did someone second that? Sorry. Got me off guard. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Steve. I have a motion by Austin and a second by Steve. This is an ordinance, again, requiring a roll call vote, starting with Danielle.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Natalie Larson, I.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 8, public hearing and consideration of ordinance number 2026-009, vacating a municipal utility easement located in common area between lot 216 and Diamondbacks Drive in Suniva Phase 2.
So this request is was when the plat was dedicated recently for this Suniva Phase 2. This was dedicated as common area, and common area municipal utility easements they're dedicated on top of those common area in case the city needs to put utilities or so forth. When they built the house, they encroached into that easement or that common area and have decided just to get rid of remove the common area, and thus they need to vacate that utility easement that goes with the common area.
Questions?
Is this common area necessary for the subdivision?
No, they have that roundabout right there, and they put it in there because they kind of wanted to create this entry feature coming in to their subdivision, which will still stay on the north side where you're coming in off of 2450. They've just decided it's not necessary anymore, is what I've been told, and they're just going to remove that.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. This is a public hearing for those who have come to speak to this item number 8. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and come back to you, council.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item number 8, ordinance number 2026-009, vacating a municipal utility easement located in common area between lot 216 and Diamondback Drive, Suniva Phase 2.
Second.
We have a motion by Steve, a second by Natalie. This is an ordinance, again, requiring a roll call vote, starting with Austin.
Austin Anderson, I.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Natalie Larson, I.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 9 is a public hearing and consideration of ordinance number 2026-010 vacating a sewer easement in Santa Clara, and Ryan is going to present this item.
I feel like I need to start. May it please the court. So the city of Santa Clara reached out to us because, as you can see, on their property, there is a sewer line that is going to be removed as that property is being developed. And so since it's in Santa Clara and it was partly dedicated to the city as well, we need your blessing to vacate it, and then as soon as they reinstall it, then they'll dedicate it back to the city. Did I get that right, Scott?
So this is actually probably a technicality, but when that line was installed, and it was either 96 or 98, it doesn't become a St. George line until it enters into our boundary. So in reality, this is a joint line between Santa Clara and Ivans. So we wouldn't even need them to dedicate it, the easement back to us, because we have no ownership in this line.
Scott also wouldn't, if they want to send their wastewater to our treatment plant, don't they need to hook up to us at some point? Don't they need this?
Yeah, yes, they do.
Okay.
Any other questions? If not, I will go ahead. As always, we like to hear from the public, so we'll go ahead and open up our public hearing for this item, item number 9, for those who have come to speak to this. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and come back to you, council.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2026-010 vacating a sewer easement in Santa Clara.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Danielle, a second by Austin. This again requires a roll call vote, starting with Danielle.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Natalie Larson, I.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Austin Anderson, I.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 10, consider approval of ordinance number 2026-011, amending the city's general plan by changing the land use map from commercial to MHDR on approximately 8.91 acres, generally located west of Dixie Drive and south of Canyon View Drive. And Brian will present this item.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So this property is generally located west of Dixie Drive and south of Canyon View Drive. Current zoning is a mix R110 and a PDC, plan development commercial. And then the current general plan is for commercial. Now this property has gone through several changes in the past. In 2018, it went from LDR to MDR, and then again in 2018 from MDR to MHDR. In 2022, it then changed from MHDR to commercial. The reason why it changed was because this was a potential location for the BLM building. The proposal is to change this back to the MHDR, which was what it was approved as an MHDR from 2018 to 2022. Knowing that the application is for an MHDR, just know that with the topography, which I'll show you a couple pictures here in just a minute, just know that it will probably be on the low end of that MHDR, probably closer to a 9 to 12 units per acre. MHDR, as you know, is allowed the 10 to 15 units per acre. Again, just with some of the challenges on the property, some of the topography, potential soils, that kind of stuff. Just a couple of pictures just so you can get a general idea if you haven't been out to that piece of property. This is from the access road on the south side. This would be looking from Dixie Drive, looking to the northwest. Just notice the significant elevation change from Dixie Drive to the top of that little hill, that little knoll. This would be looking east, coming down Canyon View Drive. This would be looking directly west from Dixie Drive. And then this would be looking to the south from Dixie Drive. So again, you can see some potential topography issues, complications, maybe not issues, but complications. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on February 10th. They voted for approval with no conditions with a 5-1 vote. The one nay vote, they were concerned about losing the commercial in that area. There was also one person who came up to speak for public comment. They were from the Pelican Hills subdivision. A few of their concerns addressed increased or more high density in the area, increased traffic, decreased safety, some of those items that were pretty typical, right? We also received three letters. Two of them were very similar to the public comments, and then the other one was there is a road pattern that goes along from that access road from the picture that I showed before. So kind of along this side here, there's an access road. They just wanted to make sure that they knew that they have the right to the road because of that pattern.
Excuse me, Brian, did you say they do or do not have it?
There is a road pattern that shows that his company is Rogers Construction Company, as well as the City of St. George, and the gas company also has right to a road in the area.
That's the paved road that's there now.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay. But it's not a public street. It's just a paved easement, effectively.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank-
And then maybe just a little bit on that little road there too, just so you know, from what I understand, and maybe Wes can correct me if I am not correct, but the plan is for, yes, they do have access to that road right now that gives him access to his development there on the south. Eventually, there'll be another connection that they'll be able to have, another access that will connect to Canyon View Drive. So eventually, from what I understand, is that this will probably go away because they will get access to Canyon View Drive from this property to the west. Is that correct, Wes? Yes? Okay.
But that road now is necessary because of the size of the apartment complex and having a secondary egress?
Correct. Is it for the egress? Yes, yes. And that's that road here. Also, there's obviously the concerns with density. Here's a couple different maps that you can look at. These purple areas on this map are all high density areas. So you can see this, the Pinion Reserve at Green Valley. You probably know this one as the Canyon View Apartments, but this was approved earlier last year. Quite a few units of high density. Also, other concerns, Valley View Drive, just the amount of density that's on Valley View Drive. All these orange areas are medium density residential, the purple being the high density, and then the subject property down here on the south portion of this map, kind of Valley View Drive kind of funneling down towards Dixie Drive into this area. So there is quite a bit of density in that area as well, so things to consider. With that, I can answer any questions that you may have, and also the owner and the applicant are here if you have questions for them.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions for Brian or the applicant? No questions?
That's one question. I've never heard of a road patent. How is that different than a road easement?
You want to address that, Wes?
You get it from the federal
Or
government.
Adam,
It's,
you got
it's
that one?
the same.
Okay.
Same.
It's just how it's conveyed, right,
Okay.
Wes?
Okay, if there's no other questions, I'm ready for a motion. For discussion, yeah.
I'm concerned about loss of the same things that were heard in the Planning Commission about loss of commercial, being the, and I know everybody represents everybody in the city since we're all at large elected officials, but being the only member of the city council that lives on the west side of town, I drive Dixie Drive probably 5 or 6 times a week at least. The only commercial we have is a small node of the Green Valley, the little Green Valley Market that's where the gas station is, the Sinclair station across the street. This little node of commercial, which I believe the Patel family has purchased from the applicant a 3-acre parcel to build a gas station in the future. And then you have to go down to 1600 to get into some more commercial. Maybe Brian can demonstrate that. Otherwise, you have to go all the way up to Dixie Drive along. There's a couple of pieces along there that are starting to filter in that are commercial. And then that's it. So the loss of any commercial on Dixie Drive right now, I think would be concerning. Understanding though that the applicant has obviously changed this several times in the last 6 or 7 years and wants to do what he thinks is best for his property and then what the market will bear.
Other discussion?
I guess I have the same concern about commercial. I think I was a lone vote last time something out there went out of commercial just because of the density that's there already. We made that mistake in Little Valley with commercial, that people are having to travel a long distance, and I just look at the density, and to get to a grocery store, to Steve's point, you're either up on Sunset or you're back up on Bluff Street. So I would like to see that developed as commercial and the city work with that.
This one's really tricky for me because, yes, granted, we need commercial nodes. We need our density spread in smart ways throughout our community, and that's really tricky for us. And to Natalie's point, we need commercial in spaces that works so that people don't have to drive very far across town for simple commercial needs. But I also know that, I've voted in the past to allow this applicant to change it to the density or the zoning that he's requesting now because it made sense a few years ago. I do think it's important for us to allow people to be able to use their property in a way that will work with the market, and the fact that it's not working with commercial might be an indicator that this location, is primed for possibly like the small gas station that's going to be there, but not for a large commercial node. So this one's tricky for me, but I suppose I find myself leaning towards allowing the applicant to try to use this property in a way that makes sense for him.
I think that's where we get down to planning as a city, though, like that we plan for things like this, that we make sure that we have availability for our residents. And back to Little Valley, there was commercials planned and residential came in, and now we're fighting back to get commercial. And you look at 3000 River Road, you look at those places where people are swimming upstream to get to a gas station. So to me, it makes sense that we try to keep commercial where it is there, because people will always oppose commercial coming in, mostly, unless it's a Costco.
As I look at it, I wonder if it makes sense to keep the property along Dixie Drive commercial, but keep that big bulky area. They change it to MDR, just to clean that up. But
I had a question for Brian. When this was changed from MHDR to commercial, is this the exact configuration?
All the
Or is
maps-
this, or is it different? I don't recall it being the property along Dixie Drive.
I believe all the maps that I've seen did show it along Dixie Drive. Do you remember differently, though?
Yeah, I remember it being different, but maybe Mr. Gubler could speak on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for the time here. I appreciate all you guys here taking the time out to be here. But this property has always been the same since I've owned it. Well, it always has. The 3 acres in the middle was sold off quite a few years ago, and that is going to be commercial. At least that's what I've been told. A half a mile to the south, to the north, is the Green Valley Market and commercial, and a gas station there. And if you go a half a mile down to the southeast, is the Maverick, and a whole bunch of commercial in there. Now, first of all, the reason we changed it to begin with is, like it was stated, we were trying to get that BLM contract that was awarded down. They changed their whole parameter, and so it was able to go further away from the interstate, and it went down to the airport area. So yes, we were kicked out of that. I have had this property for sale for 4 or 5 years, and not one person has showed any interest in commercial. Given the topography of that ground, if you're driving down Dixie Drive, all of the property except for the 3 acres, all the rest of the property is up 15 to 20 feet. So as you drive by it, if there was anybody in there commercial, you wouldn't see it. So nobody, yeah, it just doesn't work that way. Nobody wants to go shopping at a place they can't see, or better yet, nobody wants to build a place like that that's not accessible. So commercial has not worked. All the interest I have received has been in the housing. And so that's why we're trying to get it back there. We feel like there is plenty of commercial on either side of it. And I believe that's it.
Do you guys have any questions for the applicant?
I have a question for Mr. Gubler. The road easement that the Rogers own, per the letter we received, how will that be dealt with regardless of how you, whatever happens with this property? I mean, what is your plan?
That's kind of an interesting, right now, I can't answer that completely. I've talked with Wes and the city about doing a road at the top corner. Can you put the big?
That's to the west that Wes mentioned before, yeah, and Brian.
Yeah, they've mentioned it.
Doesn't matter which one. That one.
So right here is. So right on that corner, right there, they're actually cutting a road down through that property line right now. And right there, there's supposed to be a road that comes across that we've talked of, that'll come across, and that will be their secondary road.
So you're referring to your west property line there would be a road that lines up with the Pelican
It would be
Hills
on that
entrance?
southwest side. There's a road, there's proposed a road would go in there for secondary access.
And would it line up with the Pelican Hills entrance? Is that what you're saying?
Hi, Adam Allen with American. We did the design and the engineering on that parcel, and we're working with Lonnie on this, and if I can make the mouse work. So there'll be a secondary access that comes up from here, and it comes over and ties into what's called Grandview Townhomes. They have a road. It comes down and along here, along the property line, and then it actually swings over and ties in over here. We couldn't get it to line up with Pelican Hills because of the elevation and the grade difference that was there, and so we worked with Wes and the city to get it as far away as possible where they're both on opposing sides of that road. So in the future, the plan has been, when we worked with the owners of this, the Rogers, was that this entrance would then no longer be needed at that point. So that's just all not been built out yet.
So I'm clear. Where will it connect to that apartment complex, the new road that will eventually be there?
Right. It'll come right along here. It'll connect about right there.
And then it'll go to the west.
It'll go to the west.
Clip the corner of
the corner of this.
Okay, and then go over and then tie in right at the bend of Canyon View.
Yep, and then it ties into the main road that comes along here. That comes down and then back over and ties in right about there. And that's a 60-foot road, I believe.
It's on the master plan, or is that something that
we worked with Wes to get that going there, because the intersection of Canyon View now has the traffic light, and so we wanted to try to get everybody to Canyon View to the traffic light. And then there'll also be another master plan road to the south of Skyrocket Road, and Skyrocket Road is no longer going to have the traffic light, correct? Yeah. So that's kind of why we worked all that routing out differently.
So have you guys interfaced with the owner of that other property?
Yeah, they're the ones who requested it to do that with Lonnie.
Okay. Because I know you're trying to follow some contours. That way it dips into the Gubler property and comes back out.
Yeah, to make that work to where it'll work for the fire secondary access.
I'd be interested in seeing that road alignment and how that works. But I understand your point. Thank you.
Any other questions? Discussion, concerns? Or motions?
Well, Mayor, I'll try a motion. Might get shot down. I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2026-011, amending the city's general plan by changing the land use map from commercial to medium high density residential on approximately 8.91 acres, generally located west of Dixie Drive and south of Canyon View Drive.
It's a tough piece. I think with the topography, I do think it'd be nice to have some commercial there, but with the topography, it's more set up to put in some medium density housing to take advantage of that. So with that, I'll second Danielle's motion.
So we have a motion by Danielle and a second by Austin. This is an ordinance that requires a roll call vote.
You want to have discussion on the motion?
I'm happy to have discussion if you'd like to.
I would.
Okay.
I understand what Mr. Gubler's trying to do, and I think that being somebody that's in this industry, that he needs to go the direction the market's running. But I feel like this is not like the design of that road, where it would go, what happens with the Rogers patent easement, whatever it is that's now paved that nobody has access to except the city and Rogers, and who else?
Gas company.
The gas line, the gas company. But at the same time, I don't want to shoot this project down and have him have a year or more before he can bring it back. So I'm inclined to vote no on this, but I would rather that we continued it and did some more work on it.
So on that roadway that goes up those contours, Wes, is that you? This project could go forward without that roadway build on that property to the west? I guess for me, egress, Canyon View is going to get a ton of traffic as soon as we can get Gap Canyon open, which is going to be sooner than later. But if, I'm all about community connection and how we get in and out of places. So it's not on this project to develop that road. It's on the project to the west. Because it looks like the majority of the road would be on the west property. Am I going the right direction?
Well, the road does come through, and I can't quite remember, but it turns and then it runs right here where they both would share the road. The problem, like they indicated, is it's probably a 25-foot drop right there to get down to Canyon View. So when they came in with Grandview and they were doing the apartments, and Lonnie was looking at developing his property, we worked out with Rogers. The road alignment sweeps down, comes down where Lonnie would dedicate his portion, Rogers would dedicate their portion. But again, like I said, then the road eventually leaves and comes over here to tie in at a better location. And so Lonnie does have some responsibility in dedicating and building that road through there. That was kind of the agreement with the Rogers and Lonnie as far as getting that road built. And then, like was indicated, then this would be the second access over here for the apartments, and it was determined that then this wouldn't be necessary anymore. That was kind of the agreement when we worked out with both parties.
Wes, at this point, though, we're just looking at the general plan, right?
Right,
I mean,
correct.
So we're not looking at access. We're not looking at any of those items.
Right.
Correct. We're just a general plan.
Yes.
So could some of those concerns and Councilman Kemp's concerns be worked out prior to the next step, where this is still just the general plan phase? Just
Right.
as clarification.
We'd have to look at this when he comes in and presents his project. We'll have to look at how he is going to get access to a public road and make that work at that time. Originally, like when this was commercial, this was going to actually stay open as an access, and then both parties could use it because it was commercial and everything, but that's kind of changed. And so you're correct. As he brings forth his plan, we'll have to look at it and make sure that the access works for both parties.
But according to the Rogers letter, nobody has access to that road except the city and the gas company and whoever owns this apartment complex, which I assume is Rogers.
And I haven't looked, I mean, I just seen the document, but I assume that Lonnie still has access to that.
Well, that's where it's a question for
Yeah,
me, because
that's a good
if
question.
we get a letter from Rogers saying nobody else has access to this, then this fish effectively bifurcates the Gubler property into two pieces, one down by the road and one up above, that have no way to connect unless they work something out with Rogers. So the road, and then it looks like a company called Fwang LLC. Maybe that's who Rogers sold the Grandview project to. They're out of Highland, Utah. I just pulled them up on the county records. Where I would like to see this with just, that's what I'm saying. I'd like to continue it, because I'd just like to see where is that road concept going to come from, and where's it going to show up, and how do we get, Rogers or whoever owns this apartment complex, which I assume is Rogers, since that's how he gets his secondary access, pull those other parties into the conversation, and even if it's nothing legally binding, at least understand that everybody's singing out of the same hymn book.
Remember that the application that's in front of you this evening is a general plan amendment, which the question is, does this property make sense for commercial or MHDR?
Okay, and then I'm fine moving forward with it, but with the understanding that before we get to a zone change, a plan approval, a road design, a road dedication, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, we need to get that stuff worked out.
Can that be made as a condition? Or not on a
No, not a general
No.
plan. And mind you, so when they came in on the corner, they had not only the C-store, they also had some additional commercial on that side. And at that point, all of that information on the access, where the road is located, was all handled as part of that application. And so we could pull that up again and again. If they come forward with any kind of PD, then we could look at all those details.
I guess I'd like to table it as well, just because I hate to see a piece move out of commercial that they can't find access to, that they have difficulty developing it how they want to, and then come back and try to make it be commercial again, because people at Pelican Hills will not be happy with commercial again. So to me, it's like we take it out of play commercial. If the residential doesn't work out, we're not going to get it back for commercial. So I would rather see it play out, try to get some of these things mitigated so the parties all understand what they're up against, and maybe they think they do already. But I hate to take commercial off the table because the neighbors will say they don't want commercial. That's my only thing. But I guess if they're willing to take that risk, I guess that's on them. But it's hard to get commercial back in neighborhoods once it's developed around it.
So there's a motion and a second, so there should be a vote.
So let me just ask this before we do that. There is some concern here. So I think what I'm hearing is, rather than have this denied, those that are leaning towards a no would rather see it tabled so that we don't put an unnecessary delay on the applicant. So I guess my question with the motion and the second, would there be any interest in
A substitute motion.
a substitute motion? And again, I would look to the applicant as well, saying if they would rather have that versus a possible denial.
Well, but
That would
half of the council's already,
right. So that I'm reading the tea leaves. So I guess that's the question before you. If not, then we'll have to take a vote. If there's no desire by the motioner and the second to offer a substitute motion.
Can I say any more? I guess I'm not completely understanding what we're talking of here, but the property to the west has already been passed through the city And there's a road being cut right now on that. So the access is there.
That's what I was going to say is basically, I don't think that
A lot
is
of what seems
contingent.
like, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It just seems like a lot of what we're talking about needs to be talked about when a plan comes in for whatever the development would be. But like I say,
I 100% agree with you on that, Lonnie. This is just a general plan amendment. But if this didn't work out and this property has changed zoning several times, it will have a hard time coming back as commercial. And commercial, I know you said you tried to sell it. You look at Sunsets all the way built out. Somebody's going to need that property. But if you come back, the same residents who are not happy about this are not going to be worse happy about commercial.
again though, Natalie, the 3 acres in the middle of it there, that's going to be at road level.
Yeah.
So that is zone commercial.
Yes.
And it's going to stay that way.
Yes.
But all the rest of that land is up, way up, 20 plus feet. So it just the access, because of the topography, the access to that property, commercial just doesn't work. I have not had one person interested.
But
And
a
I
Ruth
have had a
Chris
couple of-
Steakhouse up there, beautiful.
What's that?
View. Ruth Chris Steakhouse up there, be a beautiful view.
We'll take care of that in another
I
place.
know. I know.
We'll take care of that in another spot.
Okay. All right.
Okay, just so coming back, we do have, again, a motion and a second, so we have to either vote on that or have a substitute motion, so. Okay, hearing that we are not having a substitute motion, we do have, again, a motion to approve item number 10 by Danielle, a second by Austin. This is a ordinance.
And Mayor, I wouldn't mind making a substitute or tabling. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't have any idea what we're figuring out when we table. To me, there's access. This is just a general plan. Either we agree with it or we don't. And so I think we should just move forward.
John?
I think if we were to go back, we would need some clear direction on what the council would like. If they would like cross sections to show that there was a separation between, or the hillside, and so you can determine whether or not it makes sense for commercial. We'd want some clear direction from the council on what information that you would like in order to make a decision.
I guess Steve and Natalie, if you have something exactly that you want, then I'll change my motion and we can table it and say you want these answers and we can come back in a few weeks. But if you don't,
I think that Austin's idea of taking the big piece from the narrow, because that road right now is splitting it. At some point, if keeping the 3 acres and the rest of the property on Dixie Drive together as a commercial parcel would give you the ability, even if you had to do a bunch of excavation and take it down and retain so that it was at road level, that was going to make more sense than trying to build townhomes or apartments or something that wrap around and then deal with Rogers to get over that road and wait for the other road to get done. And then you can't have any access onto Dixie from here because it's too close to the other access. So, I mean, I know it's just a general plan and we can vote and Mayor Hughes can break a tie if there is one.
Well,
and then we can talk about the other stuff before we come to a zone change.
and just so you understand, Mr. Gubler, if we vote and we vote against it, you won't be able to bring this parcel back for a zone change, I believe, for another year, or it might be 18 months. Is it a year? So I'll table this for you so that we can have more discussion, so that gives you a better chance, because right now, at least if I'm reading the tea leaves, it looks like it's not going to pass. So I'll table my motion.
Technically, it's a motion to continue.
Okay, not table, a motion to continue.
Well, there need to be a motion to continue in a second, and then by a majority vote, then this item would be continued.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to continue.
Substitute motion, right?
Substitute motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, think we're heading in a better direction here. So we have a substitute motion now from Danielle and a second by Austin to continue item number 10 to clarify a couple of things. I'll leave it at that, a couple of things.
Okay, we're going to go back. We're going to gather up all the information on the access, and we'll also get some cross sections. Their engineer will provide some cross sections on what that, what that property will look like in relation to Dixie Drive. Is there anything else the council would like to have to help them?
Sounds perfect.
Really, just definitive clarification, because all we have is a letter from Roger saying, hey, nobody else has access to this road except me and the city and the utility company.
Yeah.
I would like to know what the reality is on that.
We can, what we can do, we can also provide you with the previous approved plans, which do show the access. It was a PD, and so part of that PD, it shows all the accesses, and we can get all the information on that patent in regards to that easement. Right, Wes?
Clear? Everybody clear?
And I agree with Mr. Gubler. Just looking at the county's topo, there is a dramatic amount of elevation change that would need to be mitigated to do anything, especially with the property along Dixie Drive.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for the substitute motion to continue this item, which means it can happen immediately. There's no delay. We can just get this clarified, get it back on our next agenda, correct? Okay, this is a roll call vote, starting with Austin.
Aye. Austin Anderson, aye.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Motion to continue carries unanimously. Thank you.
Item number 11, consider approval of ordinance number 2026-012, amending the city's general plan by changing the land use map from LDR to MDR on approximately 17.64 acres generally located west of Mesa Palms Drive and north of Curly Hollow Drive.
Okay, this is the property generally located west of Mesa Palms Drive and north of Curly Hollow Drive. It's 17.64 acres. The current zoning is R18, single family, 8,000 square foot lots, and R110, 10,000 square foot lots. The general plan is LDR, which allows for 1 to 4 dwelling units an acre. Here is the subject property, and again, they want to change it to MDR, medium density residential, which would allow for 5 to 9 units per acre. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on January 13th, 2026. No public comments were made. They did forward a positive recommendation with a unanimous vote of 6-0. And I can answer any questions you might have, and the applicant is here as well.
Thank you, Brenda. Any questions for Brenda or the applicant? Absolutely. If there's no other discussion, then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-012, amending the city's general plan by changing the land use map from low-density residential to medium-density residential on approximately 17.64 acres, generally located west of Mesa Palms Drive and north of Curly Hollow Drive.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Natalie and a second by Steve. This is ordinance also requiring a roll call vote, starting with Natalie.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 12, consider approval of ordinance number 2026-013, amending the city's general plan by changing land use map from AE to MDR on approximately 1.95 acres, generally located at the northwest corner of 1800 North and 2100 West.
Okay, and here is the location on the satellite view. Like John said, it's located at the corner of 1800 North and 2100 West. It is approximately 1.95 acres. The current zoning is RE20, residential estates, 20,000 square feet lots. The current land use is AE, agricultural estates. One thing to note, this area has quite a mix of general plan designations. So to the east, it has LDR, low density residential. To the north and northwest, it has AE agricultural estates. To the south, MDR, medium density residential, a little bit of LDR, and some open space. Here is the property exhibit. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on February 10th, 2026, and forwarded a positive recommendation with a vote of 6-0. There were some public comments at that hearing. There was concern for privacy of the backyards near that property. There was also concern turning agricultural property into higher densities, as well as increased traffic. We did receive one email comment, which was included in your packet. And I can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Brenda?
Brenda, what was the date of the planning commission of that? Was it, okay, February 10th.
February 10th, yeah.
Any other questions or discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2026-014, amending the city's general plan from AE agricultural state to LDR low density residential. Now I'm on the wrong page. Thank you. Number 12.
Sounded good though.
My bad. I'd like to make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2026-013, amending the city's general plan by changing the land use map from AE to MDR, medium density residential on approximately 1.95 acres located at the northwest corner of 1800 North and 2100 West.
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Natalie. This is an ordinance requiring a roll call vote, starting with Danielle.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Steve Kempai.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 13, consider approval of ordinance number 2026-014, amending the city's general plan from AE to LDR on approximately 11.97 acres, generally located on the northwest corner of 2450 South and 3010 East.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a request to change the general plan. As was just stated, this is the property outlined in red on your screen. 3210 East is on the east of the property, 2450 South is on the south. It's part of a larger piece. We'll see the other half here in just a minute. They're requesting a PD on the western half of the property. But on this piece, they are proposing to change the general plan from AE to LDR. This is a zoning map. It is currently zoned A1. And this is the boundary map that they submitted showing the location of the property. Again, it's approximately just under 12 acres. The reason primarily for this change is that the LDR designation gives a little bit more freedom, a little more, there are more choices of zonings that they can ask for. So they're
Flexibility and lots.
Flexibility, exactly. So that's the primary purpose. The Planning Commission held a public hearing and recommended approval of the application. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those, or the applicant's also here, the property owner.
Any questions for Dan? Or the applicant? Discussion?
I'm prepared to make a motion if you're ready,
I am.
since I already did half of it before.
Yeah, that's good.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item number 13, ordinance number 2026, amending the city's general plan from AE agricultural estate to LDR low density residential on approximately 11.97 acres located on the northwest corner of 2450 South and 3210 East.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Steve and a second by Austin. Again, an ordinance requiring a roll call vote, starting with Steve.
Steve Kempai.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 14, consider approval of ordinance number 2026-015, amending the city's zoning map by changing the zone from A1 to PDC on approximately 8.46 acres located on the northeast corner of 2450 South and 3000 East.
Okay, this picture in front of you reminded me that this is easily identifiable as the property with the radio antennas. My understanding is that those have run their course, and if I'm not mistaken, they will be removed sometime in the summertime. So it'll be a change of scenery out there, I guess. This particular piece is the western half of the one we just looked at. The designation in the general plan is commercial. And so in keeping with that, they are proposing a PD on the property. Now they're just asking for the initial PD, not the full-blown with the elevations and the site plan and all that kind of stuff. They are proposing to just ask for the use list and the zoning designation on the property. Currently it's zoned A1. This is a concept plan they put together simply to show that, you know, that they have potential to lay something out. We're certainly not holding them to this. It's just kind of a placeholder so that you understand that something can be developed on the property. This is a property survey. And then these are the use lists. We tried to, as closely as we could, mimic what happened across the street. So as you recall, on the property across the street to the west, this PDC here is the Old Farm property, and they've also got a PDC on their property that they're working through the details on right now. And so very similar in nature to that one. And so if you have any questions on any of the particular uses in the proposed use list, we can go through those. Otherwise, Planning Commission held a public hearing on this as well. Did have a couple of people that were curious, maybe didn't understand the process as well, but they ultimately recommend approval of the application, and along with the use list as it's proposed. Again, the applicant's here, the property owner's here, or I can answer any questions.
Dan, I'm a little bit, I read through the use list, and the retail sales with outdoor storage or outdoor displays, farm equipment, implement sales, and then there was a couple others, fencing and things. Is this a possibility where someone could have like a yard next to their shop or next to their storefront where they sold fence posts and tractor parts?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, something like that. Farm implement sales will oftentimes have that kind of display, and that would allow that. That's specific in the code. So.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for Dan or the applicant?
I wonder where the Sulvans are relocating the deer herd that hang out in that field. Like, where are they going, James?
The freezer. No. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say there is taxidermy allowed on one of the uses with conditions.
Does the applicant want to share anything? Not want you to talk us out of anything, but.
James Sullivan. Honestly, there's nothing I would need to say other than the radio towers is kind of up in the air right now. They were supposed to be off a year ago, but the new facility they built is not working yet. So they're wanting as long as they can get out of me, and I'm just telling them we're month to month getting through this process. So our current agreement is just a month-to-month lease, and it can end anytime or stretch out. I'm going to try and give them as much time as possible because, frankly, if those do come down, they're going to lose a couple of stations. So that's all we've got.
Anybody have any other questions for James? Thank you.
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Let's go for it.
Mayor, motion to approve ordinance number 2026-015, amending the city's zoning map to change the zone from A1 to PDC on approximately 8.46 acres located on the northeast corner of 2450 South and 3000 East.
Second.
We have a motion by Danielle, a second by Natalie. Again, an ordinance requiring a roll call vote, starting with Natalie.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item number 15, consider approval of ordinance number 2026-016, amending the Desert Color Plan Development Commercial Zone on approximately 0.65 acres located east of Desert Color Parkway between Southern Parkway and Black Mountain Drive.
All right. You may recall seeing this, I believe it was last year. This is the Ruth Chris site. You can see that will be down kind of in this area. This pad that we're looking at tonight, sorry, this mouse is a little sensitive, is up in this area.
Dan, I think you're on the wrong item, aren't you?
Am I?
You need to be on 15, not 16.
Skipped ahead.
Oh,
I infected you.
mine.
He's
Sorry
just
about
trying to
that.
scoot us along.
I got so excited about that one. All right, sorry about that.
You got Lonnie excited too.
Yes, we'll come back to that. So this one's in Desert Color. Okay, this one's in Desert Color, just off Desert Color Parkway. This is a 0.65 acre site, and it is currently zoned PDC, and a coffee shop is an approved use in the Desert Color PDC zone, and they are proposing a small. If you've seen any of the other Dutch Brothers around town, that's what it's going to look like. It's approximately 20 feet in height. I'll show you that right there. But again, looks very similar to the other Dutch Brothers around town. They are providing a double drive-through lane, which can stack approximately 20 to 22 cars before it even gets to this point where it might block off some of the parking. So pretty sufficient as far as the drive-through goes. People will be able to also walk up to the facility and make orders on this southeast corner site right here. We've got a little overhang on the roof that will allow people to get out of the sun and make their orders there. They are not providing any seating on the site, so their parking is definitely sufficient for what they need. At 1,000 square feet, they only needed 4 spaces. They're providing 8. If they did decide in the future to throw out a couple of chairs or something on there, their parking would definitely be covered, given just the small footprint that it has.
Dan, where's the bike parking?
I don't know if they got that specific on here, but we'll make sure that they have bike parking.
I'm asking about that also because Desert Color allows golf carts.
Yeah.
And they've really built themselves as a walkable and bikeable community.
Yeah.
And when I went out there on my bike the other day, it's really strange how you come out of Desert Color to these commercial spaces and all of a sudden it's just sidewalk instead of trail. We've got trail coming up connecting to the neighborhood above here, when it comes across I-15. And then they've got trail in the neighborhood. And there were all these kids. Kids were still, coming out back and forth. It was very active. There were people on bikes and people walking. But it was, I'm just curious, does the golf cart privileges extend all the way out to their commercial area, first of all? And are they putting in the infrastructure so they can continue with that walkable, bikeable golf cart community that they've said that they are?
Yeah, certainly walkability is important to Desert Color. They are providing, it does get into more of as you get into the commercial area, you're correct, it does get more into the sidewalks as opposed to, the asphalt trails that you see around.
I think I think we need to look at it because we're also building with, UDOT, the SR7 trail. So people are going to be frequenting this by foot and by bike. And that needs to be part of their plan, I think.
Yeah.
So Desert Color has two commercial areas. They have their downtown commercial area that's supposed to connect to the neighborhoods and be that walkable. Then they have their big box area. And this part is located within their big box area. Our code does require a certain number of bike parking just anywhere in the code or anywhere in the city. And so they will have to comply with that requirement.
Correct.
If somebody comes out of Desert Color on their golf cart, are they not allowed to do that? To come over to this
We've
area?
limited where they can have golf carts on their roads, and so we'd have to go back and look at those exhibits that kind of demonstrate where they can have golf carts. I know they did extend some of the trails an extra 2 or 3 feet to accommodate the golf carts, but we'd have to go back and look at those exhibits where they allow for the golf carts to go.
Okay. I don't think I had much more to share. There's the materials boards down here as well. Planning Commission again held a public hearing and recommends approval of this application.
Questions for Dan? Discussion?
I think it looks good. I think it makes a lot of sense. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 2026-016, amending the Desert Color Plan Development Commercial Zone on approximately 0.65 acres located east of Desert Color Parkway between Southern Parkway and Black Mountain Drive.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Austin, a second by Steve. This is an ordinance requiring a roll call vote, starting with Austin.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Motion carries unanimously. 16.
Item 16, consider approval of ordinance number 2026-017, amending the Black Ridge Plan Development Commercial Zone on approximately 3.44 acres located on the northeast corner of Black Ridge Drive and 250 West.
All right, now we're getting to this one. My apologies. This is, again, the site here, Black Ridge Drive, 250 West, Ruth's Chris, down in this area. This pad is located up in here. It's zoned PDC, and that's all we'll have on this particular property are 2 restaurants. You recall this was slated for a hotel from years gone by. That moved across the street, and now they're proposing these 2 restaurants. They got, so just by way of reminder, on this property, you see, again, the Ruth's Chris site down here. Pad number 2 is this one. It's proposed a Rodizio Grill, and they're basically they're not changing any of the sites. They have the number of stalls, parking stalls that were required in the code. We looked at that against the footprint of this building, made sure that it's still adequate for what they're proposing, and it does meet the code. The site, just so that you know kind of where we're at with the site, they've submitted their application. We've gone through it, and we're just about ready to wrap it up. So we should see some movement on this property here fairly soon. These are the proposed elevations. It's approximately 30 feet to the highest point, so that's from here to here. And then some renderings of the property, or of the building. And the materials board, again, should be right there. With that, Planning Commission held another public hearing on this, and they issued a recommendation of approval for this site as well.
You ready for a motion?
Yeah,
I have one question for you, Dan.
Sure.
Yes.
So, when we approved this before for the hotel, there were pretty extreme mitigation measures that had to be taken because of the soils. I am just assuming that the same apply here with the landscapes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the landscaping, they were very specific about having very drought tolerant plantings. trees, that kind of thing, and limit the number of trees and shrubs. So yes, that has been taken into account. We're actually working with the Parks Department to make sure that the landscaping that's been proposed is that kind of landscaping.
Sounds good.
Now,
Any other discussion or question?
I just want to make note, we did get a letter from Dr. Andrus regarding the view. And unfortunately, that's a part of building in our community, but I just want to acknowledge that we all did receive that letter and we read it before making the motion. And I think the soils thing up there is well known, and I have confidence that staff's going to get that worked out. So I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-017-0177, amending the Black Ridge Plan Development Commercial Zone on approximately 3.44 acres located on the northeast corner of Black Ridge Drive and 2050 West.
Second.
Motion by Natalie, second by Danielle. This is another ordinance requiring a roll call vote, starting with Danielle.
Danielle Larkin, aye.
Natalie Larson, aye.
Steve Kemp, aye.
Austin Anderson, aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We are to this point already. No appointments. Let's go with reports. Then, Austin, if you have any reports, this is a time where you can do that. Unless it's your first time, probably to give a report. Do you have anything you want to report?
I got appointed to the mosquito abatement board. I went to that meeting. Wasn't not much to report, but I did attend. So.
Good.
Is there a count on the mosquitoes?
No, I asked him. I affect both and the solid. Well, I attended the solid waste board, so I learned about mosquito abatement and how our solid waste is transported. So,
nice.
I'm attended my meetings.
Nice.
Yeah.
Steve?
Nothing to report.
I'm just going to give a shout out to our staff. Corey Frost and Chad and David did a great job with State of the City. You didn't do too bad yourself. I thought it was a really nice effort. And then the Transportation Expo, I think, was well attended. And it's always nice to get that feedback from our residents about what they like and what they don't.
Perfect. Danielle?
Yeah, I just wanted to brag about our Parks Department since I'm assigned to them. For years, there's been a Japanese garden across the street in the front of the Children's Museum building, but it's older and it kind of got overgrown. And so they just put in a new Japanese garden back here on the northeast corner of the new City Hall, and it's really beautiful. So everyone will have to go back and check that out. But they just do a great job designing, very thoughtful design, creating so many peaceful and beautiful spaces in our city. So I just wanted to say how much I appreciate them. And the mayor did take golf away from me, but so now Austin will have to brag about golf, but he is a golfer, so I thought it was it made sense why the mayor took it away from me.
And the bridge was built by our parks director, Shane Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, in his garage.
Yep. And the rake too, right? Didn't he build the rake? The little wooden rake, he told me. He built it himself.
What he was out here in the little garden out here on the corner with a wheelbarrow earlier and doing the work. So, because I think he wanted it a certain way. So
send a guy to Kyoto for a few days and falls in love.
Yeah. Anything else, John? Anything else?
Yeah, I just have one thing. I know that you guys received an email from our new special events coordinator, but she's actually here, Amy Fish.
Oh, yeah.
And so we just want to welcome Amy. You'll be getting emails and whatnot from Amy. So we're excited to have her. She's also operating our front desk up at the third floor. And so there's Amy.
Yeah, if you come into the third floor and you're having a bad day and not happy, you have to be happy when you see Amy because she's very pleasant and very nice. And she'll even let me in the door when I don't have my badge. So that's always cool. Only thing I'd like to say is thank you all for your participation in the State of the City. I got lots of good comments and appreciate you all as the council taking part in that in your important role. So other than that, I don't have anything else. Is there anything else besides our esteemed attorney would love for us to adjourn to a closed session for purposes of
Litigation update, possible property acquisition.
I make a motion to go to closed session.
I'll second.
for those two items. Is that okay, Ryan?
To discuss those two items
Okay.
mentioned by the city attorney.
Yep.
Second.
Perfect. We have a motion by Steve, a second by Austin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 3-1. We will adjourn to closed meeting. Thank you all for coming. Oh, yeah, and just for the record, we excuse Councilwoman Tanner. She has a great excuse. She did have a baby on Thursday. 12th of February, Maverick J. And everything seems to be going well. So if you get a chance, congratulate her. I think she is going to join us for a closed meeting.